You know, some scary stories are just stories, but then there are others that are so much more. They're like echoes of history, a way for a culture to give a name to its deepest fears. Today, we are digging into an Andean legend that's been terrifying people for 500 years, mainly because the monster it describes has changed its face to match every new enemy. I want you to picture this. You're high up in the Andes Mountains of Peru. The air's getting thin, the sun's going down, and the only sounds you hear are the wind and your own footsteps on these ancient stones. This is the world where the Karisiri was born. And in quiet places just like this, that fear still feels very, very real. So let's start right there with a quick question. You're on this path, and night is falling fast. Do you keep going, or do you turn back immediately? Let me know what you do. Your choice might actually change by the end of this. Okay, let's meet our monster. In the Aymara language, it's the Karisiri. For Quechua speakers, it's the Pishtaco. Both names mean something along the lines of the cutter. And its goal isn't your blood or your soul. No, it's after something way more specific, and to the Andean people, way more terrifying, your body fat.
So what are the rules of this strange, terrifying legend? Let's break down the classic folklore behind this creature.
The stories all seem to share a few key details. The Karisiri always hunts at night, and it always targets people who are traveling alone. Victims say they're hit with this sudden, overwhelming sleepiness they just can't fight. While they're out, the creature extracts their fat, somehow without leaving a single scar. The person wakes up feeling okay, but over the next few days they get sick, waste away, and eventually die. And the Karisiri itself? It's a shapeshifter. It might look like a pale foreigner, a priest, or even a dog, making it almost impossible to spot until it's way too late. And that right there brings us to the absolute heart of this whole legend. I mean, think about it. Most of our monsters, our vampires, they drink blood. But here, it's all about fat. So why is that specific thing so uniquely horrifying in this part of the world? Well, the answer pulls back the curtain on a really deep cultural difference in how we see the very essence of life itself. In the West, we tend to think of blood as the source of life, right? But in the traditional Andean worldview, fat is everything. It's literally the seat of your energy, your life force. Being gordo or fat is a sign that you're healthy, prosperous, and strong. Being thin suggests the opposite, illness and poverty. So when the Karisiri steals your fat, it's stealing your very vitality. But it actually goes even deeper. Fat, especially animal fat, or sibo, is considered the most sacred offering you can make to the spirits of the earth, like the Pachamama. It's basically the currency of the spiritual world. So by stealing a person's fat, the Karisiri isn't just killing their body, it's severing their spiritual essence and their connection to the entire cosmos. But this monster isn't just some static piece of old folklore. As we're about to see, its changing face actually tells the story of 500 years of Andean history. Okay, before we jump into the timeline, I want you to make a prediction. What do you think is the real origin of this fear? Are we talking about a genuine supernatural being, some kind of forgotten ancient ritual, or is it a reflection of the brutal history of the region? Lock in your answer now. Now this is what's so fascinating. The identity of the Karisiri almost perfectly mirrors whoever the main outside exploiter of the Andean people was at any given time. The legend probably started back in the 16th century, when Spanish conquistadors were literally using the fat of dead indigenous people to treat their battle wounds. Then, during the colonial era, the monster became a Catholic friar, said to be stealing fat to make the church bells ring holy. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, with new industrial machines arriving, and suddenly the Karisiri was a foreigner who needed fat to lubricate them. During Peru's internal conflict in the 80s, it was soldiers, supposedly harvesting fat to pay off foreign debt. And today, the fear has turned inward. The Karisiri can now be your own neighbor, anyone who seems to be getting rich by abandoning tradition. And this isn't just a theory. As anthropologist Andrew Canessa puts it, the fear of this mythical monster is really just a direct expression of the very real violence and exploitation that Andean people have suffered for centuries. So, when you put it all together, the Karisiri becomes so much more than just a boogeyman. It's really a living, breathing metaphor for historical trauma. This framework really helps us understand what it's for. The Karisiri acts as a cultural lens to process exploitation. First, it always embodies the other, the dangerous outsider who doesn't belong. Second, the theft of vital fat is a perfect symbol for the real-world extraction of labor, land, and resources from their communities. And third, its identity is totally fluid, which lets it represent whatever new threat a community feels it's facing. You know, almost every culture has a figure like this, a monster that explains some deep-seated fear. Think of the Jersey Devil, the Chupacabra,
Baba Yaga. We'd love to hear about it. Share a boogeyman from your own culture down in the comments.
But make no mistake, this isn't just some historical artifact we're talking about. This belief has had very real and very recent consequences.
Let's talk about the year 2009. This was the year of the infamous Pishtacos affair. The Peruvian National Police actually held a press conference to announce they'd busted a gang that was murdering people to sell their body fat to European cosmetic companies. The story created a massive media frenzy and widespread panic, until it all came out that it was a complete fabrication, a hoax just made up by the police. The fact that a story like that was even believable to so many people just shows how deeply this fear is burned into the national psyche.
And the list of who might be a Howard theory just keeps evolving. Today, people like aid workers from NGOs, government census takers, even anthropologists and geologists have been met with suspicion. They might not be taking literal fat, but in a way, they're seen as outsiders coming to extract something else, data, knowledge, resources, without really giving anything back to the community.
As the anthropologist Domenico Branca sums it up, the Karisiri is fundamentally a figure of social disruption. It creates panic and distrust, and by symbolically removing the fat, it removes the very essence of life and community.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The Karisiri is this powerful vessel, created to contain and explain centuries of fear. And it really makes you wonder, what monsters, whether they're supernatural, political, or technological, are our own modern societies inventing right now to give a face to the things that we fear the most?
If you find horror stories that are deeply connected to real history as fascinating as we do, make sure you save this explainer for later. Thanks for joining us in the shadow of the Andes.